Before I go anywhere with this video, I want to point out that everybody should play the game how they want to play the game. Nobody should be forced or influenced to play the game in any way that they don't want to play the game. If you're also not enjoying the game, maybe just don't play the game. But I did this for my own personal gain to see how it would be to be free to play for an entire year. It's been over a year since I decided to go free to play in the hit mobile game Dragon Ball Legends. After Ultra Margin Vegeta's release, I didn't get him. I got shafted. And I said, this could have been a lot worse if I was free to play, or it could have been a lot better if I didn't spend any money on the game, because at least if I didn't get him, I didn't lose anything out of my pockets. So I set myself the challenge to play the game like a lot of you guys. It's naturally assumed for content creators that they are paid to win because it helps produce their content, but that's not necessarily true. A lot of content creators don't spend any money on the game, and the results I found, at least for myself, as I'm going to give my own account, my own experience, are very interesting, and a lot of them I'm very happy with. I know a lot of you guys are free to play and have been following me in this journey, but if you are free to play or pay to win, let me know in the comment section and give your opinion on how it is to play Dragon Ball Legends in your current position. So why did I go free to play? Well, like I said earlier, I got shafted. Ultra Margin Vegeta sent me to hell, I'm not gonna lie. And there's something that shaft does to your brain. It's like it slows down your brain, and even though it's just a game, all your hopes and aspirations in getting that unit are just down the drain now. At that point, I had been free to play before playing Dragon Ball Legends, but I wasn't. And because I wasn't, it allows me to go further getting shafted. But obviously in the hopes that I would get lucky, but based on this video, I obviously didn't get lucky. I still don't have him to this day, by the way, but at least he's killed off, so I don't really have to worry about him. But he is super cool. Anyways, outside of that, other reasons were there's a lot of units that I'm not necessarily interested in, like units I wouldn't necessarily die for, but I was really going hard on summoning just because I wanted them for collector's purposes, where I know after maybe a month, sometimes not even a month, sometimes it could be the first week, I wouldn't use them ever again. And there's units I have now that I randomly pull here and there and I don't use. So I felt if I go free to play, it's going to restrict me heavily, so I wouldn't have a choice but to skip a bunch of things, because there's going to be certain things I will definitely want. There is also added benefit. For example, I don't have to spend my money on this game. I never felt like I had to, but I actually wanted to, obviously for content purposes. But I feel there's so many ways to make content that I didn't need to do that. So that's also another reason why I stepped up to this challenge, and it's already been a year. It's crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. Let's go deeper into this video. Now, there is a factor that I do have to mention, because a lot of you guys see it in my videos or my live stream. I still do have the Legends Pass. The Legends Pass isn't free, but it doesn't give you any extra Chrono Crystals. There's literally no Chrono Crystals to gain from it. You just get added benefits to make your playing experience easier. So as a content creator, I still don't want to waste my time playing this game doing some tedious tasks here and there. There's definitely periods in the year where the game is not fun, but because I'm committed to the game, I still want to grind Chrono Crystals. I still want to get the events done. I still want to get all the free to play characters, Ultra Space Time Rush, etc. So there's benefits such as speeding up the game and just a few resources here and there that could help me upgrade my account. For example, I can get energy, equipment medals, etc. But the main thing here is about free to play, pay to win. So no Chrono Crystals are added into my account from the Legends Pass, and I wasn't buying any Chrono Crystals throughout the whole year. Margin Vegeta released on the 30th of October, so it's been quite over a year now, but I kind of timed this video to be right before the festival. So yeah, just had to put this segment in here because a lot of people point that out. I know some people will say,
oh, then you're not free to play.
I've already explained this in a previous video. I don't really care what you think regarding that, because this was a challenge for me. I'm just sharing my experience, so take that as you will. So as a guy that's been on both sides, I've been paid to win and I've been free to play, right? And especially going from paid to win to free to play, there's a different mindset to the game that a lot of you guys would have. For you guys that have been only free to play and those guys that are still paid to win, whatever side you're on is completely fine, but obviously depending on how you're playing the game, you will perceive the game differently. So I want to go into the positives first of me going free to play from being paid to win. One of the biggest positives that I found is that there's forced discipline, and of course this is just Dragon Ball Legends, it's a game, but I do this thing Saving Sunday right before every celebration. I did it before the festival, I've done it before this anniversary, and I've done it again for this festival again. And I found a lot of you guys actually struggle to save Chrono Crystals. That comes from a lack of discipline. But when you're forced to save Chrono Crystals because you know in your head, yeah, there's going to be something crazy hype coming up, you will save those Chrono Crystals. You literally have no other choice. So as a result, I found myself holding more Chrono Crystals than I usually would if if I was paid to win. And that was a big plus, honestly. There's like this honeymoon period, even if you don't have the character. So the reveal comes out, right? The devs do an amazing job with the reveals, even though a lot of us will say this reveal was mid, this reveal was bad. You're watching the animations and you're like, wow, even if it's a character you're not particularly interested in, you're still thinking this looks good. The hype of everybody discussing it, whether it's mid or it's great, whether the kit's bad or it's good, you're interested to a degree. The point of you watching the reveal is to find out what happens, so you are interested. And then there's this ticking time bomb that's like, oh yeah, low-key want to summon, let's see if I can get lucky. I know that happens to a lot of you guys. It gets everyone. It's a gacha game. You want to get the new character. We're all Dragon Ball fans. We like all the characters, just some more than others. But ultimately, I know there's going to be something better in the anniversary, for example. Maybe not this year, thank God for me, but some of you guys might have enjoyed the whole thing. But typically, the anniversary will have bangers, and I will want to summon on those things, which I did, which made me miss out on things prior. For example, Ultra Perfect Cell, Legends Limited Super Saiyan Goku, Trunks and Gohan at the start of the year. There's certain things I couldn't get just because I wanted to save my Chrono Crystals for something better later down the line. But the main thing that comes out of that is discipline. You know when to pull the trigger and when not to. There's also the added benefit of enjoyment, and that might sound backwards, but hear me out. Being paid to win, depending on how deep your pockets go, so I'll speak for myself, you could literally spend until you just get the character. The odds are in a way where you will eventually get the character. Unless you are super unlucky, of course you're not guaranteed the character, especially if it's an Ultra, and even if it's a Legends Limited, you still have to consider the pity. So if you don't, then you're still not guaranteed the character. In most cases, like very likely, the odds are in a way where eventually you will get the character because the rates are not that low. They're still low, just not low enough for you to not get the character if you're going super deep in. I'm talking 100,000 Chrono Crystals. So if you know you're going to get the unit, there's an element of surprise that is missing from your experience of playing a gacha game. That might sound like I'm a gambling addict, but part of the experience, if anything the biggest experience of a gacha game, Dragon Ball Legends, is the summoning experience. You want to see the summoning animations. That's one of the unique selling points of Dragon Ball Legends. When you see the pods come out the sky, the Dragon Balls, Jacko's spaceship, the Broly animation, the Cell Max animation, you see all these different variants. You do not know what you're going to get, even though it's predetermined. Once you press that summon button, you don't know what you're going to get. But if you know you're going to keep going until you get the unit, what animation you get loses value. The idea of not knowing doesn't exist. So there's less excitement. It's more like, okay, can I get the unit now so I can just be done? So because I had a finite amount of Chrono Crystals, the game was more fun. Like literally, I'm going in with the mindset of, if I get shafted, I'm in the same boat as you guys, and at least we can be in the boat together. But if I get the unit, hey man, that's great. I feel great because I wasn't guaranteed. Again, you're not actually guaranteed. It's more that you can keep going because the rates are more in your favor based on how many Chrono Crystals you're going to spend. So yeah, in the most backwards way possible, Dragon Ball Legends has been a lot more fun, and I'll expand on that, but it's a point on its own. So when I do get the characters that I get, I actually value them more. So I don't summon on everything because I literally can't. There's not enough Chrono Crystals to go around. We're getting 20,000 Chrono Crystals or less every single month outside the celebrations, and in most cases it's gonna take you over 10,000 Chrono Crystals to just get one unit. They're releasing 2 to 3 units every single month. That's simply not enough. So if I pick one of those units and I actually do pull them, I feel to savor them. I like them a lot more. I put the multi-Z power into them. They're basically more special, and that makes me want to use that unit over other units, considering I probably don't have the other units. So yeah, again, it's just adding on to the enjoyment aspect, but how I value the things that I get is a lot more. I'm basically a lot more appreciative for the animations that they have, the mechanics, etc. I don't really care what's meta. I'm just playing the game with characters that I like, and I think that's the peak of enjoyment you can get because you're not affected by outside opinion. You just like what you like, and that's the end all be all. Now there's obviously negatives with going free to play, and the biggest one, I'm gonna go into it straight away. You are more likely to get shafted. If you have less Chrono Crystals, that means you can do less summons, and that means it's more likely that you won't get the unit based on the rates. You know, if the summon rates were 100% chance to get the unit, that means every summon you did, you would get the unit. But if it's 99% and you only had one summon available, if you're that 1% that doesn't get the unit, it's over. That was just an example for you guys to see, and you guys know the rates are much lower. So with 20,000 Chrono Crystals, I can still not get the unit, and that happened this year in 2025. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Daima. I'm a big Daima fan. I was back lacking diamond from the jump. I spent over 20,000 chrono crystals on him. I think I went to 30,000. I used the 20,000 I had, and then the chrono crystal they released for the next month I put into him as well. I still didn't get him, and then they doubled up with Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and I didn't get him either. So I was like, damn, you know, I was stuck using the strongest free-to-play Goku. Thankfully he was actually good with his Zenkai, but that diamond team in its prime, Forku, Ku, Do, bro, that team was strong as hell. You don't have Forku, it's over. So obviously you get shafted, you miss out. That's a very big shame. You're not guaranteed to get shafted in the same way you're not guaranteed to get the unit, but you're more prone to getting shafted. Let me also add, the meta slaps you up. I play the game with an idea of, if I like the unit, I'll go for the unit. I don't care for meta, right? But if you're paid to win, you know, you might bend to the meta's will just a tiny bit so you can pair units with the units you like. The leader slot is very valuable, so if you just have one of the new units, you can just run a team you like and you'll be fine. For example, in the anniversary, there's guys that were using GT. Crazy, right? Because GT was not cooking in the anniversary. But if you just put Ultra Super Saiyan Goku on the leader slot, hey, you've got comeback, a meta unit, and you can use 2 other units that you like and build the team around them, because the meta unit doesn't need the extra support factors. They're on the leader, so they're gonna get everything anyways, but they're also kind of a one-man army unit, so it's fine. Being paid to win, you have that leverage. As a free-to-play, you might not get that privilege because you don't have the chrono crystals to go all the way around, so the meta will slap you up and you don't have the openings to just spend your chrono crystals left, right on things that you wouldn't usually want. But to play the game, I'm not gonna say you need it, but it's close enough to needing it. Like, whatever's the closest thing to needing it, that's what it feels like in the meta when you don't have the units that requires you to keep up. Outside of getting shafted as well, you kind of just miss out. This comes as a double-edged sword with the discipline. Yes, it's good you have discipline that you can skip out on things, but you have to make that choice to not summon on things. And like I said earlier, we're Dragon Ball fans. We like everything, just some things more than others. If you were paid to win, you can just go for everything. But being free to play, you have to just miss out. Imagine being the biggest OG Dragon Ball fan, but you're also a big fan of MUI Goku, which is like everybody, you know, having to summon prior to the 7th anniversary on the OG Dragon Ball, and then going into the anniversary with no CC. That would be major tough as a free-to-play player. So by default, you can just miss out. It's not even about getting to the stage where you spend your chrono crystals summoning and then maybe not getting the unit. You don't even press the summon button because you know you can't use your CC right now because there's probably going to be something better, so you have to hold back. And I'll end off with this biggest factor, fun, being that it's sometimes not fun. There's a lot of you guys that don't play Dragon Ball Legends religiously anymore, and by that I mean every single day. You don't even bother logging in every single day to get the chrono crystals, right? You might come back a month or 2 before a celebration because you will stack up chrono crystals then for the celebration. And the main reason for that is, outside of the celebrations, the game feels boring to a lot of people. I think the driest periods of Dragon Ball Legends is post anniversary. Those months of September and October, the end of October can sometimes be good, but September or even end of August might be the worst time to ever play Dragon Ball Legends. Those months are absolutely dry. And because you're not spending your chrono crystals just anywhere, you actually have nothing to do. The events have gone downhill because we just left the celebration as expected. You're not summoning, so anything they release new, you're just not getting. The meta gets more difficult because you're also not summoning, and the units that come out are sometimes busted. For example, in 2024, we had Majin Vegeta. This year, we have Half Corrupted Zamasu 13 and the Red MZ. It's very evident to see that you'd be logging in, just doing your daily tasks on routine, but not necessarily enjoying. It's more mundane things that you have to do just to keep up in order to enjoy the periods of the game that you want to enjoy. So the fun aspect of it is also a double-edged sword. Now, the big question, I guess, to end off the video, I've been getting asked this almost every single day, week, month since I've gone free to play. Am I going to continue being free to play? And I don't think I need to put a statement out for that. I think I will just enjoy the game the way I want to. I think if there's a character that I like to that degree, then maybe I will spend. But the way I've gone about enjoying the game, I'm very content with just having one copy of a unit now. I used to 14 star the ultras and things like that, and I was able to do a lot of that because a lot of you guys donated, showed a lot of support, and I appreciate that a lot. But that is no longer my intention when going to play Dragon Ball Legends. I think if I just have a character that I really want, I'm okay with that. Even if they get one tapped, I still get to see the animation animations, I still get to use the unit, I still get to appreciate them. And that's more than enough for me. And with the way I play Dragon Ball Legends, I have a lot of discipline, shown by the Saving Sunday and the community polls I do, so it's not really difficult for me to hold back on summoning, just don't visit the summon page. But that's me. But because that's me, I don't feel I would need to. I will save my Chrono Crystals, I'll probably get the unit with the saved Chrono Crystals, but if I don't, I have my Z missions. If you know, you know. There's probably like 6,000 Chrono Crystals stashed there, and there's also events they're continuously releasing. If after all of that, I still don't get the unit, then sure, maybe I'll spend, but that's if I want to die for the unit. And how likely is it that they're going to drop a unit that I would die for? It's not just every Fusion Warrior I really care for. It's not just every Saiyan I really care for. Not every Goku, every Vegeta, every Gohan. You know, I have my own specific taste just like you, but I already have CC in the game, so I'm just gonna use what I have and just try to get one copy, and that will be enough for me. There's also things like multi-Z power, so if I just gradually Z power them up, that will also be a lot for me. So whether I do or don't, I don't actually think it matters. A lot of you guys are a bit maybe parasocial, so you're super invested on what I do and you're gonna judge me based on that. And I mean, sure, that's cool. You guys can have your own opinion. But again, I'm just here to share my experience. Maybe you considered going pay to win, maybe you considered being free to play. Either way, this is just a video for you guys' consumption. I want to end off the video to say you should play the game how you want to play the game. A lot of people have been asking me as of recent times, based on Dragon Ball Legends decision making, should I come back to Dragon Ball Legends? Should I quit the game? Etc, etc. And honestly, if you enjoy the game, play the game. If you don't enjoy the game, don't play the game. If you need to outsource an opinion on whether you should continue playing the game, or you should quit the game, or you should come back to the game, etc., maybe you just don't enjoy the game. I play the game because I enjoy the game. I like collecting. Even in its driest periods, I still enjoy the visual of the game. I like the way it looks, I like the way it plays, I love the way it functions. It obviously could be better here and there, but I enjoy the game. So I play the game, and there's no judgment in how you play the game either. A lot of games nowadays are free, so the idea of spending money on games has gone out the window for a lot of people. As a result, there's excess money to spend on games that you enjoy playing. So if you enjoy playing a game, there's literally no harm in spending on the game. I'm no financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. Let me make that very clear. But you shouldn't look to outsource your opinion on enjoyment. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.